Hello, hello, welcome everybody. We are here. We are live from the planet. Let's do this. So we'll be covering the H3 downfall, the H3 Productions downfall. It's a story that's been going on the interwebs, but fuck it, what happened? So in case you're joining, in case you're watching the VOD, covering the H3 downfall. This is the stream. H3 Productions.
SWB audio
Vape
capture
Nation.
not registered.
Vape Nation. Honestly, he's almost like an OG in the game. He is an OG. As you can see, he's fucking been around, right? And he's kind of built this whole personality about reacting videos, reacting to them, criticizing them, and that's what everybody really enjoyed about him, and especially with his co-host Ela. They're like doing their thing, and that's how a lot of people became fans of them. And this is their original channel, right? I mean, H3 Productions is classic. Vape Nation, the glasses that cured their color blindness, things like that. Some bangers from old times when, and he also did things with Filthy Frank, Joji, shout out, and just a lot of just internet lore and a lot of shit that is kind of like pre 2020s, right? It's like Logan Paul when he was doing his whole Japanese forest shit, and just a lot of this legendary content that's just kind of like gone by the waysides now. You got like Rice Gum, those type of characters from way back when. The Fine Brothers. It's like OG YouTube. Jeep Pie. It's like very, very classic shit, right? And honestly, they really got their biggest break from like the whole lawsuit thing, right? We won the lawsuit. That was kind of when I saw them, way back when I was a little guppy, and I really thought that it was pretty sick.
SWB audio capture not registered.
Exactly, yeah. I thought it was really
Good
crazy
job,
that.
Good job.
Holy shit. These two knuckleheads really like win a battle with the whole conglomerate, and they won the lawsuit. I mean, it was like a big ass thing for them. The whole internet, 10 million views, riled behind them, and they were supportive of them, and that's kind of how they got their secondary wave or the third wave. I know they were around for a long time, and honestly, this is when I started fucking with H3, and I still fuck with H3. When I put their podcast on, it's like, it's just chill, and that might be contradictory to what they be talking about now, but honestly, they still got the same vibe, the same, I mean, it's Ethan and Ela, the crew, but going back to this era, right, when they won the lawsuit, that's kind of when they got their resurgence, right? They had to deal with some bullshit, and they came back strong as fuck. And honestly, it's just, from my perspective, just being a viewer like everybody else, just out here in the woodworks, it's cool seeing people like Ethan and Ela get a huge break and just really creatively lean into what they want to do, right? And they started their podcast. They got like Teddy Fresh and shit like that. And honestly, how could you not fuck with this type of like classic YouTuber content, right? And when you really look back at their H3 Productions channel, we kind of get a glimpse of what type of content they were making, what type of creators they are.
SWB audio capture not registered.
Honestly, now fast forwarding to like the whole podcast, I think you really get to see where they're at now and how much they evolved, and they really did a lot of work. And honestly, the podcast was like um a whole other season, if you will, of like H3. They really nailed something there. I don't know what the fuck. Like it brought me in. It brought millions of people in. It really surplused them. And honestly, it's just kind of like a case of when YouTubers they did their shit right. Like this is like it's not by the book. No, but there was no rules written for this shit. But they basically made their own show that people really fuck with, and I feel like that's hella respectable. And as you can see, um, they have a lot of content. It's basically like their own TV channel, just H3. They've had many series. They've had shows with Hassan Piker, with Trisha Paytas, just a lot of internet personalities now. And I think it's kind of insane when you look back and you really see all of like the progress that they've done. And I think that's something that's really awesome, because when you are looking at them right now in the public eye and the way that people are seeing them, obviously with like the content cop, right? I think it's kind of interesting how all that work just goes to the wayside. Obviously, you have to talk about what's going on right now, but don't you get it twisted, bro. These are some legends, some OGs. These are people, right? You don't want to just fucking throw them out. I mean, who the fuck am I? I'm just here commentating on this, but it's like these people have millions of views and millions
SWB audio
of
capture
people and
not
eyeballs on them.
registered.
And there's a reason, right? They have a voice, they have a vibe, an aesthetic that is unmatched in my opinion. And I think it's kind of insane how it's gotten to this point, right, where now the OGs, iDubbbz and Ethan are now out here just fucking squabbling up. They're squabbling up. This is like the Drake versus Kendrick shit. I've seen that take, but the Drake versus Kendrick shit for like white boys, and we're here, we're eating. So that video kind of dropped live while he was on his show on the broadcast, and I think it's kind of insane how that's just kind of how shit goes now. You be live and then somebody drops a whole fucking content cop on you. And honestly, from a viewer's perspective, that's pretty insane. It's very parasocial. It's very new age tech. It's kind of insane seeing how much fucking like windows and windows there are. This is the original clip. I'm going back to now, right?
Introduce to the ring. Please.
Hopefully I don't get like some strike or something, but yeah, dude, it's like it's kind of insane how shit like that just pops off. And this dude was live. This is going back to the present. This is now his H3 podcast. I fuck with the H3 podcast. Their politics are very polarizing right now. Everybody's going against them on terms of like the left side, but fuck it. I fuck with Ethan and Hila as creators, as visionaries, as OGs in the game. Sometimes you're just on another side. You're on the polar opposite side of what everybody's on. It's not like this dude
SWB audio capture
He's not
not
like
registered.
smearing shit on the camera, if you will. But it's like, yeah, I get it. He's saying some pretty fucked up shit sometimes. That's why iDubbbz made a whole ass video, right? But when it comes to it, it's like these people are just going at it, and they're like at the top of the food chain on here. As you can see, I am like at the bottom of the totem pole. But hey, fuck it, man. We are out here. We're doing it, and we're covering this shit from like the normie perspective. Honestly, like what is TV right now? People watch Netflix, people watch TikTok. I watch YouTube, and I'm tapped in with all of these like internet celebrities and the Theo Vons, the Hassan Pikers, the beat 'em ups right here, the Casey Neistats. And this is kind of like some fucking weird global like internet thing that's just popped off. Seeing people like iDubbbz and H3 just go at it is just kind of like it's a little somber, but it's nothing new really. I mean, when you look back at the history of it, to like fucking the H3, the OG channel, right? H3, and this is just so serious like internet bullshit. It's like there's always been a level of drama in the DNA of this shit, right? It's always kind of like back and forth with other creators. I mean, that is the conception of like not the pod, but the H3 shows, right? Where they react to other people who have put out content. They make videos and they put their opinions on whatever goofy prank videos, and they kind of make their own rendition. But now they have their podcast and they really just commentate
SWB audio capture,
kind of just
not registered.
stoke the flames, if you will, right? It's kind of a full spin moment where the same folks that they would entertain now are kind of going against them. But I guess that's what happens when you start leaning into the political side of things, and you're so polarizing.
Hey man, I have no idea what you said about me, because
you're so polarizing that the dude that made he made a content nuke on 4 years ago is championing him. So it's just like the tides turned. Things are all fucking just in a tsunami of just content. A content puke is what's been going on, like, and we're just here to entertain it. We're here to watch it, and it's kind of like a really, really, really severe case of brain rot. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much window, so much back and forth, so much just like vitriol, right? I mean, if you're really tapped in, you'll understand that this shit is kind of insane, right? How the fuck did this fool iDubbbz go against Ethan, right? But you gotta understand, there's like a bunch of just like Twitter bullshit, X, you know, shout out, yay, whatever, fuck it, we're not talking about that. But there's just a lot of stuff that is kind of goes also in the background, right? Like Reddit posts, opinions, likes, dislikes, shit like that just fuels the flames. And it eventually got up here to this point where they're making their proper content, their podcast, and then iDubbbz is coming out with his content copy, and it's kind of insane. And that's just kind of where it is now. I mean, they're kind of legends in the game, right?
SWB audio capture, not registered.
They started going at other creators. That's kind of what the content cop is about, how they just started opposing other people's views and kind of tearing them down. And honestly, that's kind of what they've always done, right? They've always kind of fucked around with the other creators. They've made fun of them. But I guess now, this time around, when it comes to how they were doing it, it could be viewed as like very aggressive, very harsh. They make very, very good quality content in terms of like 4 hours in the podcast sphere. That's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot to engage with, but they're also like throwing shots at other people now, like but they're big creators. For like example, Hassan, this dude is like super pop now. He's basically like the poster boy right now for just Twitch, besides like Kai Cenat or whatever. Like, this dude is fucking basically famous in the internet world. So it makes sense, honestly, when you take a step back, especially from our point of view. My point of view is like, I mean, he's kind of attacking a famous guy at this point, right? And I guess even though on a parasocial side they were in cahoots, they did make leftovers and shit like that. Hassan is a fucking famous guy now, which is kind of weird to say. So when Ethan is attacking this fool, it makes sense when you see it that way. But then when the way they talk about it, obviously they've known each other and shit like that, so it just gets weird. They fall back into their internet personalities, right? And that's kind of where their bread and butter is, or their safety net is. And it's just fucking, it's all just for show right now, and it's kind of interesting how this shit just collapses
SWB audio
on itself.
capture not registered.
But fuck it. It's like a full circle moment. It's polarizing for sure. People's brains are just melting, including mine. I'm not my brain's melting from this shit too. But fuck it, bro. It's just kind of a weird place in media, right? Where people are reacting to people, and like there's like 4 layers of like reacts of like the video feeds and shit like that. It's just fucking crazy. And I'm not really gonna fuck it, I'll watch when he's watching this.
Yeah, he puts this here. This is like a extremely rare Donnie that we gave them. This is like ancient lore stuff, but like we made a special one just for them. Like actual friendship stuff. It's pretty nuts.
Damn. And honestly, that's where it's at. It's like he's talking about something that he gave him, right? And then he's just fucking thrusting it in the video. So that just kind of shows, like, I mean, yeah, it's silly willy, but that's like some mental disrespect for sure, right? I mean, what else can you say? It's like you're just really agitating this guy. And honestly, I think one thing about watching it as a fan of the H3 podcast, I think this is just who this fool is, right? Who Ethan and Hila are, my bad. And it's like, I guess it is respectful to want somebody to get help, but also in a way, when you're on the opposing view, it could come off as like a little pretentious, like, oh, this guy just needs help. But honestly, it's taking a step back. You do see
SWB audio capture not registered.
On his Instagram and on his show, it is very aggressive. And honestly, if that type of hate was directed at you, you'd probably be like a little taken aback as well. I mean, at the end of the day, they are real people, but they do have their personality, their internet personalities at the forefront, doing the war, if you will. So I think also in the back end, when I saw this shit popping off, I was like, you know what, these two fools, these two white boys, I'm gonna just say, like, I've watched The Leftovers like from the start to the end, like to October 7th, and when I was watching this like new like fight brewing, when he drops like the content nuke on him and whatever, all that bullshit, I was like, you know, they're not, I'm not saying they're doing this shit in the background. That's insane. They're not. But what I am getting at is that this is kind of, no shit, this is both somewhat of a clout transaction, if you will. Like, taking it to the Drake and the Kendrick shit, obviously Drake didn't want to be called a certified, you know, but, and I'm not saying that Drake and Kendrick was planned either or, and it one of them reaped the benefits most definitely. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that these two fools, specifically Ethan, knows the more he pokes at a fool like Hassan and the whole conglomerate of like the Twitch frogs and stuff, the more it generates obviously clicks, more eyeballs, more reactions, more content. And I think subconsciously they both know
audio
that.
capture
I think
not
subconsciously
registered.
this whole team knows that this just only generates more viewership, more engagement. And it's not even the money part, just more engagement, because these dudes are fucking loaded already. So it's just like it's almost like just an entertainment like transaction. And I don't know if anybody else sees that, but that's just the way I'm starting to interpret it. Is like, honestly, it's fucked up the way they're all going at each other, but in the name of content, in the name of YouTube, that's what they want, right? In the Roman era, in the Colosseum, fight the motherfucker, right? Fight the lions, fight the tigers, do the battleships, and that's what they're doing. I mean, everybody who likes this video, who dislikes the video, who comments on the video, that's all just social engagement, social fuel, social credit for these guys to keep going, to keep picking their sides, to keep doing it. And it's really interesting because we're eating it up, and fuck it, we're gonna keep eating it up. What else is there? There's no TV anymore, right? Who besides like sports and baseball, football, I mean fucking baseball's going on right now. Who else is watching shit? I mean, Netflix, that shit's expensive. This is free. This is free 99, baby. So people could just log in, watch all this shit, and let the brain rot ensue. But not to be too somber, I'm just saying that this is who these people are. They're all grown-ass adults. So when somebody tells another grown-ass adult that they need help, especially when this grown-ass adult is kind of a YouTube legend in the game, yeah, it comes off as weird a little bit, but honestly, the way I watch Hassan, he is a very
SWB audio capture not registered.
But he does give a fuck to an extent. So I do take his advices and his way of speaking to Ethan as like a show of care in a way. He's not just writing him off in the way like he would talk about Destiny or another like internet fuck, you know what I mean? But when he talks about Ethan, he does have a side of a tenderness, but honestly, Ethan doesn't give a fuck about this Hasanabi guy, right? He just like is honestly on a whole campaign, and he even created the whole content nuke on him, right? So when you really just take a step back and just see what's going on, it's a whole mess of like politics, polarization, disrespecting each other, tearing down each other's images. It's just gotten messy as fuck, right? And damn, it's just, I mean, is this what we want, right? Is this what we asked for from the content algorithms, for like just other creators to be fucking with each other? For example, I like DJ Academics. I mean, he's been in like the normie culture before. Like he's been on H3's radar or whatever. He's just like somebody who's in his own field though. And in that world, hip hop, it is a very confrontational sport. So it makes sense that these fools are duking it out. And honestly, in YouTube land, it's always been kind of like, oh, especially in like the top creators, they do start to duke it out once they and Hassan is for sure starting or he
audio
is famous
capture
now, so
not registered.
It makes sense that they're duking it out now, if you will, instead of being buddy. Now that he has his own recognition, his own fame, he's on like Theo Von's podcast, he's on multiple news outlets, he's seen as a figurehead for like the leftist movement and shit like that. I mean, that's why, I mean, no pun intended, I mean, he did blow up from this America Deserved, right? But he's like on a whole nother level now. So I mean, applaud to him. Fuck it, man. No need for me. I mean, there's so many people funding his pocket, so many people supporting him, but he is a great creator as well. Very new aged, very intelligent, very smart. He knows how to conduct himself. Clearly, he's honestly an inspiration too, right? I mean, look at this shit. Look what I got going on over here, right? But people are finding themselves picking sides, and I don't understand why they get so team-like, but hey, I'm not being no centrist. I know these dudes hate centrists. All I'm saying is I have respect for them, and fuck, it sucks to watch people just fucking bitter at it. But the way I'm seeing it is that these fucks are doing it for the engagement. Yeah, they care about each other in a parasocial type of way, but it does feed into their brands. You don't think in 6 months from now this is gonna boost their fucking shit to the max or whatever the fuck, and maybe they're not even looking at it like that, but there's people who probably are seeing it that way as well, which is like, this is only a boost for them, a boost on either side. Now, depending if Ethan really is on some other shit with his mental health,
SWB audio capture not registered.
Turns around and becomes a little bit more charitable to people, right? He's a little bit less aggro, but it doesn't seem like reacting to his own content cop, having his crew in his ear telling him like, oh, fuck, like, you know what, iDubbbz, you've already crossed the line, like, you're never gonna be friends with Ethan. I know his producer Dan said some shit like that in the back end, which I fuck with Dan. He's an interesting character on the show, right? As a watcher, as a person who's like in the normie field, but it just seems like they're picking their teams and they're running with it. They're getting their engagement, their clicks, their likes, their sides. And honestly, when you go to somewhere like X, it's just a fucking shit show. Like, people are just doing their thing, right? They're making their narratives. They're clipping people out of context. They're just continuing, perpetuating. It's just like an entire fucking industrial complex of just churning out this shit. I mean, even on here, this full Hassan is trending, and this might be another Hassan, but honestly, it's probably the Hassan Piker that we're talking about, the Hasanabi guy. But I don't know if anybody's out there. Leave your comments and talk about it. Like, are you interested in watching shit like this pop off? Does it give you anxiety? Does it give you a sense of fulfillment? Because honestly, when I'm watching it, the chatter in my mind is like, this is pretty interesting to watch. It's like watching a car wreck, right, from afar, because we don't know these people. But another part of me is like, damn, this fucking sucks that we're at this point in our
SWB audio capture YouTube that not registered.
Attacking each other, and the only way to attack back is to make a 2-hour piece content about each other. That's just where I'm at, and it's kind of nasty. It's nasty. It's like going through fucking Pornhub or some shit, like, and you get your post-nut clarity, right? It's a little nasty, but people are eating this shit up. Me being people as well. No higher ground, but we're all frogs in this, in the swamp. I'm in the swamp right here. I got a mini channel, right, that covers vape. So I mean, there's some level of a connection, Vape Nation type shit, you know. But what are your thoughts if you're watching this out there in the YouTube sphere? If you want to go ahead and make your own little voice your own opinion on this shit, because I think people's voice do deserve to be heard. Besides like the top dogs, the people at the top, I think if people really said, hey, this stuff is kind of nasty, right, on both ends, but if you were to play the moral card, honestly, I don't even know what the fucking moral card is here, because I fuck with Hassan right now, but I fuck with Ethan, so I just think it gets tricky, right? These people are who they are. They're grown adults, so when one side is telling the other to change, that's just like, can't really do that. Unless this guy was actually like batshit crazy on some Kanye shit, which he's not. Ethan's not on some Kanye shit. That's like Kanye crazy, right? That's some Ye shit. He's not on that, but he, in a way, is perpetuating just hateful content.
SWB audio capture not registered.
That is one way to look at it. Ethan perpetuates hateful, spiteful, tearing down the image of other people, and on the other side, the iDubbbz, the Asanabis, they don't tend to do that. They don't tend to just solely base their content around individuals, around their looks, around ad hominems. Yeah, if they get attacked, like Hassan, he starts to get at the attacker. But it seems like Ethan is definitely a perpetuator, an attacker, a bully, a digital bully, because his content is at the helm of other people's expenses. And back to the beginning, right? That's what it's always been. He's always had that DNA in his content of poking at other creators, making pranks, making fun of the things that they do. And that's why people loved him, right? That's why people loved H3.
Hey man, I have no idea what you said about me because I personally haven't seen it yet. All I know is
and that's why he bumped heads with people like Keemstar. But now people like Keemstar are coming to his defenses, which is fine. I mean, that just shows you what kind of slot bucket this is, right? Goofing on cringe, that's like in his fucking wheelhouse, right? So now he's using those powers towards other creators like Hassan and iDubbbz and Frogan and those types of creators. And instead of it being a goofy Vape Nation, these glasses are colorblind, my new vape type of ordeal,
SWB audio capture
they're on the
not
level
registered.
just tearing down shit, saying like funky stuff about people, looking at like their social media postings, like making fun of their selfies, insulting their intelligence. Instead of it just being one video, they react to like their entire like life. Like you'll start digging into like the background history, you'll look at your like school records to see if you're still like a student and stuff. And I think that is where people are having enough, right? But again, there's people who are seeing the other side of it, which is Ethan's not too off the deep end. He's not Kanye crazy, but he is on his goblin mode. He's on his goblin mode for sure. And I also think it's just who he is now. He said he's gone through his trials, his tribulations. He got help in the past, and that's wonderful. And if this is who he is, then this is who he is, and nothing makes it all right. That's why he's facing so much criticism, so much backlash. And I just think that the more you push at him right now, and if he truly is in a clear-headed state where he's not in depressive mode, he's just in his multi-millionaire dad role, yeah, you can't really talk to Ethan like that. He's gonna just be like, well, fuck it, my shit ain't stankin'. Y'all are crazy, right? These are my politics. This is what I stand by. And that's kind of what he's doing. And gotta respect it as a man to a man, but that's why you get backlash like iDubbbz and Hassan kind of goofing on him, right? But I don't know.
SWB audio capture not registered.
Somewhat of like
those of you who don't know what Content Cop is, this is iDubbbz's old show.
This kind of like a digestion, right? How are you feeling? Because this shit's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy how much this shit just boiled down to picking sides, narratives, things like that. But fuck it. We ball. We're in the swamp. Man. Yeah. What's the narrative on fucking social media right now? Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. It's just like one side's trying to get the other to change. You can't do that really, but it was a persuasive video. But honestly, Ethan's reaction was pretty much just putting up his walls, which sucks to see. He had like absolutely, he didn't have like 1%, not even like a 0.5% of a like awakening, which is kind of sad, but it is what it is. I mean, he's just him, right? He's this multi-millionaire creative YouTuber with his wife and kids and his crew, and that's kind of his stronghold. So anybody who comes around, anybody who has an opposing point of view,
SWB audio
anybody
capture
who pokes
not
at
registered.
that fortress is going to get clapped, right? Or at least they're gonna get goblin mode on them. So this is his family, right? His digital family, his real workers, his real crew. And if you fall out of this crew like Hassan, damn, that's bad news for you, right? Fuck. What a weird time to be living in on YouTube. It's almost like it's like they really do play into that like family thing, and it's almost kind of meta in itself. Like, damn, they're like the toxic family, which makes it even more real, right? In a painful kind of way. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this? If you're watching this out there in the ether, if you're also feeling this kind of dread, this kind of post-nut clarity, right? I guess that's kind of what it is, right? Post-nut clarity, rather than the downfall of H3, because these fools are going to be around, honestly, until they hit the X button and they're like, you know what? We got enough out of this. We're ready to call it quits. But honestly, as long as these fools are healthy and have ambition, I don't think they're ever going to push the stop streaming button, because you got fools like Larry King or Howard Stern. They keep going. They keep going. I mean, they keep going. So maybe this will just be water under the bridge, but it definitely does boost the current moment. I think it helps to talk about it. I think it helps to see it for what it is.
SWB audio capture not
time,
registered.
Kind of exciting in a weird way. Kind of a sign of the times too. Definitely a sign of the times where it's just like so fucking, it's so nasty either way. It's like on both sides, but for sure Ethan has been the perpetuator of this shit. So you're just it's like a Drake versus Kendrick type shit, but Tupac versus Biggie for white boys, you know. Jay versus Nas. Fucking Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Yeah, dude. These people are who they are. You can't change them. Especially with so much fucking recognition. They're at the top of their game. They're in their prime time. They're in their prime time. They're gonna pick their sides. And that's just what it seems to be. And yeah. I'm absolutely a micro creator right now, and hey, if anything, that gives me some bit of clarity to this shit, because when you watch this stuff, you just watch it with like a distant eye. Don't get too involved in this shit, even though I'm like slapping my stuff into it, just because is anybody really talking about it like this besides being so fucking polarized by it? I'm polarized by it right now. My shit is going in 360 no scope mode, but hey.
SWB audio capture not registered.
Some post-nut clarity for y'all. Some post-nut clarity. And I guess that's just where it's at. That's just where it's at. Fuck it, dude. Fuck it. Ah, man.
A day for the past 10 years. At one point during this stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything.
And I was supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't gonna cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why did you forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn
Never.
of Satan?
It's disgusting.
And
It's a
I
piece
mean,
of shit of a human.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't with it. Huh, it's almost like that is a identical situation to me.
It's just incredible who
SWB audio capture, not registered.
It's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet, unlike Ian and Anissa, who are keeping to themselves. Also, why the does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him, and you don't have to say anything, but like, what a piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with you?
Sorry, we
Which
got
is
the
total
AI
bullshit,
voice in the background
okay?
being a little
Olivia did not
bitch,
do
but
anything.
I want the pass.
fuck
Do I
it.
have to be an employee to get that treatment? Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole thing.
It's true.
Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus. Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not like my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh yeah, and our other good friends,
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian. Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times, cause like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not?
This also doesn't make any sense because, like, I actively avoided talking about Ethan for a year when he apparently was doing a bunch of this stuff. He was apparently having not the best takes about Israel as Israel was pummeling Gaza. And people kept bringing it up, and I was like, I don't care about what Ethan has to say. I defended him over and over again. I don't expect anything transactional out of this, but it's crazy that, like, for me, I cared more about the issue at hand and not necessarily the drama amongst content creators. So there's an entire compilation out there somewhere. I think it's like 8 minutes, sorry, over the past 16 months. The first like post leftovers year from November 2023 all the way to November 2024, pretty much, where I'm like, I don't care remember, Ethan is not your enemy. Ethan is not pro-Israel. Because I thought that he wasn't. Like, I thought that he was maybe internally conflicted to a certain degree, given his proximity to Israel. I thought that he had an attitude that was significantly more critical of Israel than what it has become. And on top of that, I recognized that there is a lot of anti-Semitism on the rise. And I think that Ethan, as someone who had experienced a lot of the anti-Semitism online, was unable to parse through the actual progressive fans that he had that were telling him, not from an anti-Semitic perspective, that what he was saying was Zionist propaganda that is pro-Israel propaganda, and the people who were just being anti-Semitic and saying, of course, you're a Jew, that's why you believe these things. I recognize that. I understand that. There are plenty of Jewish Hasanabi heads in this community, many of which had a different opinion on Israel before October 7th, many of which that went through those motions. That's precisely the reason why I had Simone Zimmerman and Noah Colwin on the broadcast. Noah is obviously, as you guys know, a great friend of mine, host of the Blowback podcast, fantastic podcast about American foreign policy and its consequences. I highly recommend it. But I watched the Israelism documentary, and I had Simone on as well, alongside Noah. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted to help other people that had been trapped in this internal conflict to see a way out of it, to be able to recognize the social conditioning that led them astray. And I think it's been relatively successful as well. And yet, after all of that, what did I get? Over and over again, just smears, collaborating as Ian showed here, collaborating with a community that has haunted my ass and has tried to turn me into a lolcow, knowing full well what kind of harassment I withstood from.
I agree with what Hassan is saying there, that
the sex pest in a community, he went around and he got clips from them to prove a point to his audience that no,
he just basically fucking turned them into like the target, right? And on some Fortnite shit.
Actually me. I had brainwashed his progressive fan base. I had brainwashed them with my, I guess, stupid, sexy Hassan ways. That I was a truly evil person and a secret anti-Semite.
And this is the this fool obviously protecting his brand. And it's true though, what H3, their superpower is tearing down another creator. They've always done that. So when you see it being directed at a former co-host, that definitely does sting, right? That does get you in the gills, and that's why it's like some post-nut clarity shit. Like, damn.
I mean, if that's truly what
on some like Toxic X vibes, right?
And you weren't just gonna use it later.
Of course I was gonna stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that one?
Man,
Like,
just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
Honestly, too, in a way, you see this chat over here is like saying fuck AB, iDubbbz. I mean, they're on the iDubbbz side. I respect Hila, especially for being a creator, and early on in H3 Productions, she was a big part of it, right? But she would also be the camera woman, and just how much she's the co-host, so the OG co-host, and her ability to kind of voice her opinions, and respectfully, she's from from Israel. So I mean, she's got that beside her, and I mean, I think it is interesting how far she's come in terms of voicing herself and her opinions, and it's just, it sucks seeing it go so left, so left on, and then now the community is just fucking, at least on this side, like the lefty side is like really trying, I mean, it's like a lot of infighting. They're trying to tear them each other down, and it's just, it's a little icky.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one f***ed up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So,
The problem.
okay, if you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new.
Is there no concept here of like the output? Is that not even remotely important or interesting to the subject matter? It's just something that I don't understand at all, where they're like, oh, everything that we say about Israel is just, you know, you can't have any difference in opinion on it, because if you do, then you're anti-Semitic most likely. You're doing it in an anti-Semitic fashion. This is the major point of contention. Content creators have a finite amount of time online. What you do with that time and what you do with that platform and what you do with that influence matters. And if all you do in the limited time that you have online is to constantly attack pro-Palestinian content creators, undermine them, demand that they get deplatformed, okay, call them anti-Semitic terrorists over and over again, yeah, of course people are going to be like, yeah, I disagree with that. I totally disagree with that, especially when the backdrop of this conversation, when we are all living in profoundly privileged conditions here.
Obviously, this fool is in the mud with them, but that point of using their ability to just tear other prank creators, other goofs, other gaffes. You see, this weird toy channel is freaky. I mean, they've always had that in their content DNA, right? Doing that, reacting to other creators, and they're now using that to do it to political peeps, and that's why it gets so polarizing, right?
In the Western world, in the United States of America, in West Hollywood or Bel Air, right? Like, we are incredibly privileged, and this entire conversation revolves around like your own personal feelings about how people don't agree with you. Like, it's just unimaginably.
And again, it's like this fool is talking about their personal feelings, and yeah, that's what they would do. They would talk about how they saw other creators. It'd be like, whoa, like this fucking it's time to stop this prank guy, right? And they're kind of using that against like this Hassanabi guy, like, oh, it's time to stop this guy, but they're really using all of the political ways of doing that, right? But they now have a lot of power, a lot of resources to kind of really pinch at other people, so that's why it's become like kind of an issue.
Selfish. It's so goddamn self-centered. It does not make any sense, especially when the backdrop of this is a live streamed endless sequence of child murder. So much so that Ethan made it such a joke that he would just be like, oh, there's a genocide happening. How can you do this? There's a genocide happening. Like that, it became a punchline for him. He started referring to Israel's genocide as nothing but a punchline. The genocide card, he said.
And I fuck with Hassan, but right here he's playing his political ways, right? He's using the real shit that's going on in the world with Gaza, with Palestine, and those important topics and important real things. And yeah, it is a large part of the issue, and that's pretty much what the whole thing is about, their disagreements. But the only way I could describe it is that he is Is he putting that? Is he using that as his shield?
The equivocation here of like them defending Ian and Nisa and then expecting the same in return also doesn't make sense. Because Ian came out and said, I f***ed up at a time when he didn't need to do that at all. He could have just pivoted to like maybe centrist content and then later down the line, maybe some more progressive content. If it was disingenuous, if this change wasn't real, if this change wasn't organic, if this change wasn't real, he could have just as easily kept doing right-wing content. That shit pops off. We all know what the internet looks like, especially with the 4chanification of Twitter to begin with. He could have kept farming it, but he had an honest change of heart. And in that honest change of heart, he came out and recognized that he should apologize for his past mistakes. And he lost a big chunk of his fan base as a consequence of that. People became active haters of him. He had nothing to apologize for.
I think like one thing that's going on here too is that their disagreement really turned really nasty. Instead of it just being a disagreement, it turned into like a battle of the careers, a battle of the personalities. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say is like they're fighting with real world issues, but it's really the vehicle of their personalities that's what's getting beat up, right? But not really, because they're really gaining more traction
because of his apology. It is not the same situation. Standing by your friends in that regard, if you agree with the decision that they made to apologize, is an entirely separate situation than like actively crashing out on every single small, large content creator that's fucking pro-Palestine, trying to get people fired, trying to get people deplatformed, trying to take down an entire platform while you're on YouTube. Like, it's just crazy yeah, of course, there's no equivalence.
Yep, that's the crazy part though, that's the nasty part where they're trying to tear each other down, trying to ruin an actual career. Like that's is that what they used to do? Were they trying to ruin careers? Somewhat. They would try to put a stop to whatever channel was doing kissing content, whatever weird like toy channels were out there. I guess that was kind of a thing. So they're just using it against political means now.
There's no equivocation to demand unconditional support in this situation because I stood by you when you made a brave choice to fucking apologize for your past mistakes. Suing people for Reddit clips, getting your lawyer to demand insane things out of college students that are operating anonymous Reddit accounts, thinking that there's this massive conspiracy that you will uncover if you engage in frivolous lawsuits against people who cannot defend themselves against those lawsuits. And
that's like so fucking interesting how it just did a flip. Like they were the ones fighting a frivolous lawsuit, and now they're wielding what they've learned from that and all of the success that was given to them for winning that lawsuit. They now are using that as a way of attacking people who aren't on their program. Yeah, that's a little dark, man. That's pretty crazy. That's fucking dark.
Know that they can't do that because you can bury them in a mountain of paperwork and know full well that they don't have the finances to be able to defend themselves in a court of law. That's crazy.
Friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know. Yeah.
Which I'll show. Denims is actually participating in this whole Child Protective Service lie.
Yeah.
Which I'll
and if
show
you're
you guys
friends with them, then you're saying what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, where we are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core? People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention. I don't know, I think they're both probably
one thing that I did appreciate from the iDubbbz content videos that there is a level of maturity he's talking through, and maybe maturity is not the right word, but just conversation. He's not immediately picking at Ethan's looks. He's not looking at him and sizing him up and talking about his face, his weight, the way he looks and the way he talks, the way he walks. He's talking about the things that he believes in at the moment, the things that he is attacking. And I think that's respectable, but right away in the H3 podcast, he's immediately going after iDubbbz, like tattoos, and just doing the classic, like, I'm gonna fuck with the way you look, right? I'm gonna make some ad hominems, and that's just the way people operate at that level sometimes. Like, they don't give a fuck. They're gonna talk about your the way you look, the way you dress, the way you talk, and that's kind of what they've always done. Again, going back to like H3 Productions, they've always, I hate the way you walk, I hate the way you talk, I hate the way you make your content, and that's how they blew the fuck up, right?
Of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more nasty to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be my friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, one of the friends doesn't with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything.
He got apparently real mad at Steiny too for having me on his podcast.
If you were my friend, you wouldn't even have had him on. It wouldn't even be a question.
I'm just letting you know, and maybe he fooled me, but it seems like that guy actually...
He did fool you.
At this point, maybe not at this point, it's different, but it seemed like he actually genuinely cared or cares about you.
That episode's coming out tomorrow, I think. I don't know.
And again, you hear like the producer in the background doing a raspberry. It's like, bro, what the fuck is going on in that production? I fuck with the H3 crew, but damn, they do not give a fuck about any outside. Even the way Steiny was talking, he was talking just like on the phone. What the fuck? That's a sign of like, that's a sign of muddy water. That's a sign of like some toxicity. Even though they do have a relatively entertaining show, the way they talk with each other, like the H3 podcast, but that's a little interesting how somebody like Steiny, who's in between, is immediately getting some already toxic response even on the phone.
I get it. You guys are in. You're either my best friend who's deep throating me to the base of my cock, or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody, and blah blah blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, oh, he doesn't work with us anymore. But that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay, do you have anything else to say for your friends, though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is, and they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship.
And we'll pause the video right there because honestly, this is one of the main reasons, from my understanding, why iDubbbz made the video, because they were on the back end just being quiet, and eventually it boiled up to the surface, and that's why the content cop was made, right? They started attacking other creators, they started attacking Hassan, or they've been attacking him for almost over a year now, and it boiled up to this point. So wrapping it up, it's like, it's just showing this is who Ethan is,
Until you
and this is who the H3 podcast is now. This is how they operate. They're like a tight-knit circle. They're entertaining, but if you even tread on their lines, and they're like tigers for sure. They're pouncing on you, and they do not give a fuck who you are. You are not gonna fuck with their fortress. You're not gonna fuck with their money. You're not gonna fuck with who they are, and they're gonna attack until the very end. And they're quite successful if you really look at their community. But their argument is that if they continue this type of behavior on their podcast channel, that it won't be too good for them. But honestly, me as a fan, it's just hard to see it as it just ending like this. It seems like they're probably just getting a boost anyways, all three of these fools, all three of them. And I think that's kind of where it is that these people are going to be who they are. They're at the top of their game. They were at the top of their game, and if anything, this is bringing them back to the top, the cream of the crop. They're not really at the Mr. Beast level, or even Mr. Beast has fallen off in a way, but in terms of popularity, but obviously he's rich as fuck, and all these people are gonna be the same unless one of them crashes out, like on some Etika shit or something like that. Then that's not what Ethan's on. He's like a multi-millionaire father of the podcast, of the H3 universe, and it seems like shit's just gonna keep going like a train, right? This is who he is, and this is who they are, and it's nasty out here. But that's just kind of like the real spill on it. And thank y'all for checking out this fucking post-nut clarity of like this content puke stuff. And it's just kind of somber in a way of where everybody's at right now, just creating narratives. I'm just watching it for what it is, and fuck it, man. Let's ball. Let's get out of here. So thank y'all for checking out this video. We're out.